Hello and welcome to Hersco Online, where we love to give you information to make your life easier when designing and fabricating custom foot orthotics, custom-made shoes and AFOs. In this segment we're going to look specifically at casting for custom shoes. The cast technique that we're going to look at can be used for making custom-molded shoes, but it also applies to AFOs and ankle gauntlets. When it comes to casting for custom-molded shoes, there is no question that taking the cast is the single most important step in the entire process. For this reason, do not rush this step. Take your time. Time spent now pays off when it comes to dispensing the actual shoe. Secondly, make sure that the cast you take represents the functioning foot. There are many cast techniques used for casting for shoes and AFOs. By far, the single best one is to use a plaster clamshell or bivalve technique. This is what we see here. It's a two-piece cast that captures the true shape of the foot without compromising the length of the foot or the width of the metatarsals. It's essential that the toes be captured properly and fully in order to make the last length correct for the final shoe. Casting with plaster can be a little more time consuming, but it is worth the extra effort. If you can't use plaster or you're not comfortable using the plaster technique, you can use the STS casting sock. This is a method to capture the shape of the foot without compressing too much of the soft tissue. Using a plaster bandage with a wrap technique can sometimes restrict the soft tissue, so that's not as preferable. However, by far, the worst possible method is to use fiberglass. Fiberglass tends to lose the definition of the foot, and it's very difficult to see the toes at the end of the cast itself. In order to take a cast for a custom molded shoe, seat the patient comfortably in a chair that won't move, put their foot plantigrade, and put their leg and foot in the 90-90 position. Put a sheet of foam underneath the patient's foot, something soft, so that it's possible to capture the curve of the heel and the arch in the cast itself. Maintain the foot in the 90-90 position and put a little bit of pressure on the knee. That way you get to spread the metatarsals and see the full extent of the toes. Be careful not to crimp the toes as you apply the plaster or the bandage to the surface of the foot. And make sure the toes are fully covered without plantarflexing the digits. For best results, I recommend using 8-inch wide plaster strips. This makes the job fast and quick. Before you apply the second piece of plaster, add some separating agent, such as hand soap, along the rim of the plaster. Once you put the second piece on, take a casting pencil and score some lines between the upper and lower sections so that the lab knows where the cast pieces go together and they make the final last shape. Finally, 2 top tips from Hersco. Number 1, always take a weight-bearing tracing of the patient's foot on a hard tiled floor or other surface. This acts as an insurance policy against any changes that might occur to the last during shipping. Top tip number 2, if the patient has an existing pair of well-fitting, custom-made shoes, or even an extra depth pair of shoes with removable inlay, remove the insole and trace it. If you send it to the lab, they can modify the last to exactly match what's working for the patient at the moment. There are many other pointers for taking a good cast for custom molded shoes. Please visit Hersco.com and click on the Education tab. Thank you for visiting Hersco Online.